John Glenn basketball is used to being the talk of the town.
Fun coming to their games and watching what they do.
27 victories, including last night's win over Bay, have turned Greg Woodard's crew into the talk of this state.
This group can put points up quick, and I think what you've seen don't really surprise us at this point.
How the Muskies got here is no accident. They selflessly shared the basketball, playing for each other.
It's not all about one person. It's not about him or him. It's about all of us.
But tomorrow afternoon in Columbus, John Glenn will play for so much more.
We're ready to get it done.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Value City Arena in Columbus for the 94th annual Ohio High School Boys Basketball State Championship game. Today on your dial, it's a rematch of two of the best teams in the state for the Division II crown, the Irish of Akron St. Vincent St. Mary, while the Little Muskies of John Glenn making their first appearance all time in the state championship game.
We just stayed humble and just took it one game at a time.
Welcome back, everyone. The John Glenn Little Muskies are still grieving tonight the loss of a former basketball player who led the team to the regional semifinal last season and off the court did so much more. Clay Sturts died earlier this week in a car accident in Coshocton County. The John Glenn grad was just 18 years old. John Glenn coach Greg Woodard says the former captain had a special bond with the players on his team.
He led vocally. He led by passion. When somebody was down, he'd pick them up. When Clay wasn't on the floor, he was the biggest cheerleader on the bench. He impacted a lot of our kids' lives just with that attitude, that love, and that toughness.
Woodard says Sturts' passion for the game will live on this season as the team fights for another MVL title in his memory.
I know we're going to hear his name brought up a bunch this year, especially in tough times, and maybe times in practice where he was the guy who was picking people up. I know there's going to be a lot of things that happen that are going to make us remember him, and he will live through a lot of these young men.
Pray to him every night. That's my dude. So, man, if you're around him, you know he's a dude that is just fire and passion, and he loved to win more than anybody. And every time I win, every time we win, I know he's smiling. It doesn't matter who we beat, but I know he's excited for a win.
He's one of the guys that you only meet one in your life. He's just a great guy. Always having fun, always joking around. Just a great guy.
He was just always motivating us and giving us high fives no matter what happened. He's always there, and he's still there.
His picture hangs right inside our locker room door, so every time we walk out that locker room door, he's right there to remind us on not to take things for granted, to appreciate every second we have, and whether it be as a group or as an individual. And I certainly think in a lot of our kids, he's always there. He's always kind of looking over us, always reminding us of what we need to do.
From downtown for the triple, Clay Sturts.
Making the state Final Four is an incredibly difficult challenge, a challenge that John Glenn was hoping to accomplish for the first time in school history this afternoon in Athens. If the Muskies were to do so, they would have to get past a talented Walnut Ridge squad first. After 20 seconds to play, Muskies need a 3 to tie, but the pass gets away from Luke Hendrickson. Scott sink another free throw, and that's all she wrote. Walnut Ridge wins 48-44 to punch their ticket into the Final Four.
The night lights are shining.
last year when the loss against Walnut Ridge really motivated us to not have that feeling in our stomach of saying we should have and we could have instead of actually doing it. So,
not making it the past 2 years and getting stuck at the Elite Eight.
We're not trying to have that feeling again.
You know, playing in the regional finals the last 2 years has been a great experience, but I think just that shortcoming of not winning that game has, in my mind, really motivated the team, the coaching staff, just to try to finally get over, I don't even want to say get over the hump, just finally knock down that door.
Just making that next step. We've always been in districts, we've always been there, but we want to take the next step and get further.
We're a train, and you can't stop the train. And I think we like that. We enjoy that.
Woodard scheduled us some pretty good scrimmages this summer, some pretty good teams. He toughened up our schedule. And I think just doing that has helped us play better and play harder.
Before the season, we set goals. And
well, goal one was to win the MVO, of course. So there's one. Stay undefeated at home for the 2 years that I've been here, at least. So that's good. And then just make a run in the tournament. Game by game, we want to go for it.
We decided that we're not gonna stop anywhere. We're going right through.
Yeah, we still have work to do. So, and we know that. One goal. That's the state championship. So.
Go, fundamentals. Fundamentals. Ooh, high hands. Get there, Jay. Get there, Jay. Close out hard. Hands, sit down. Weight back.
Back-to-back regional runners-up, John Glenn Muskies were all over the Bobcats from the opening tip. Literally seconds into this one, Matt Weir with the lefty layup. Hey, if you're a fan of high school basketball, you got to see this team in person. Muskies win big, 99-48.
You know, here's kind of an example. We had a little maintenance work done on our fire department garage. I walked down just seeing how things were going. You know, the contractor's like, hey, what about them Muskies? You've been watching them play, man, that's just, you know, he's like, man, they're just a joy to watch.
Right now, the team to beat in the MVL, undoubtedly the John Glenn Muskies. John Glenn wins 82-27. Get used to it. They can score the basketball. This arguably the team to beat in the state. They are that good.
See, I'm a John Glenn alumni myself, so just kind of seeing the John Glenn basketball team doing so well, it just sort of gives you sort of a sense of pride, you know?
There's not much you can do when it comes to stopping them. There's no game plan you can draw up, nothing coach can do that makes them not as good as they are.
John Glenn looking for their third straight victory this season.
There's the final score, 103-51. First time this season the Fish surpassed 100 points.
We knew that we were going to be pretty good, but we tried to better ourselves this summer, and that was our main goal, was to just dominate.
Next game is the most important game, and that's it. We don't ever look ahead.
And over to John Glenn, the little Muskies getting ready to go. Matt Weir gets the steal, passes it up to Slack with the one-hander. Throw it down, big fella, who goes upstairs. John Glenn wins this one easily, 105-44.
Shout out to Tanner Slack. We knew he had the hops, throwing it down yet again tonight.
I broke my ankle this summer, and I wasn't able to dunk very well in the beginning of summer, so I've kind of worked on that a little bit.
Really, nobody's been able to test John Glenn this season.
They beat Big C 85-35, and believe it or not, that's John Glenn's slimmest margin of victory so far this season, 50 points.
I felt that we could be really, really good. Based on our skill set, you know, we can put 5 guys on the floor at any time that can score.
But out to Sheridan High School, it's the Generals battling up against the John Glenn Little Muskies. But it's Rackley again, somehow gets the penetration and sidesteps the D. John Glenn would easily get this win, 75-58.
Oh, we always think that we're the best, so that wasn't the question off the bat. But to go out and prove and show everybody that we really are, it's great.
I knew we could have been good if we gelled together, but I didn't know this was going to happen.
Matt, Christmas Day just 3 days away, and there's no doubt the John Glenn Muskies have a state title on their wish list.
They do. The Fish have to wait 3 months for that to happen, but through 6 games, they've rarely been challenged so far.
Rarely is probably an understatement. And the one-loss Morgan Raiders stunned Greg Woodard's Muskies. The Fish are on a roll. Check it out. This is not a typo. John Glenn wins 109-61.
They run the other teams down. I've never seen such a high adrenaline team.
You guys got all four of you sit down away from the ball so you can get there while it's in the air. Ready?
Yeah. Teamwork, tradition, success. These are all qualities that the John Glenn basketball program has showed over the years. They sit at 7-0 in regular season play, but Tuesday they will head out of state to play a little better competition. John Glenn will take part in the 2015 KSA, an invite-only basketball tournament in Florida featuring teams from all over the country. The way the Little Muskies have been playing, though, they should have no trouble adjusting to the level of play. The head coach Greg Woodard felt that there was much more preparation than against local competition.
Well, you know, the scouting end of it's not quite as easy as scouting local teams. We were fortunate enough to get a film on the team that we play first. They're all big schools in our division down there.
Division I recruits Matt Weir and Drew Rackley both know that this will not be an easy test, but they are ready to play and, most importantly, get better.
High steps, keep going up, hopefully improving in the future, because I know I'm leaving it next year and hopefully we can carry on.
Yeah, we're excited to compete with some teams we've never seen before, some size that we haven't seen, some athleticism that we haven't seen.
This invitational will not only make John Glenn a better basketball team, but more importantly, it shows the true meaning of basketball here in Southeast Ohio.
It says we're taking steps, we're getting bigger. We're ready to put our name on the map a little more, and not just be locally known and really be known.
Are spoiled a little bit to the quality of basketball in this area, and again, I hope we can go down and represent Southeast Ohio in a positive way, and leave there knowing that we gave everything we had. We tried to call it a business trip.
It was a great experience, so I won't ever forget that.
Going into the year, my number one goal was to put us up against the best competition in the most adverse situations that I could.
Matt, up until this point in the season, we all know it. The John Glenn Muskies have not been challenged. So what do? They get on an airplane, they take a trip to the Sunshine State to play in the KSA Holiday Tournament, and today, their very first game of the tournament, they're taking on an unbeaten team from the state of Washington.
Taking their talents to Florida. The Little Muskies would pretty much roll over Olympia in the second half. They would go out to a 20-point lead, and they would easily win this one 72-44.
What happened? I thought this was supposed to be a test. Olympia previously unbeaten, but the John Glenn Muskies proving that they are indeed for real.
They made 13 threes.
Out of
21.
Wow.
So
yeah. JG playing in the semifinal of the KSA Holiday Tournament in Florida today, just one day removed from blowing out previously unbeaten Olympia, Washington. The Pace Patriots from Pensacola, about some alliteration, stood between the Muskies and an unblemished 9-0 mark. First quarter, Jay Blevins dialing up the three, and another Muskie three here from the wing. JG with the hot hand early on, and it'll be Blevins again, another trifecta. JG led by just 8 at the half, but blew the game open in the second. The Muskies take it 70-52. They'll play Linden, New Jersey in the championship.
It was a great trip as far as chemistry's concerned. Not only our players, but our players' families. I got an opportunity to spend 5 days together, where I think even our families are closer now.
9 games played and 9 easy victories, including 2 in the Sunshine State. The John Glenn Little Muskies needed one more win in 2015 to capture the KSA Holiday Tournament Championship and return to Ohio with a spotless 10-0 record. A tough test stood in their way. The Linden, New Jersey Tigers gave the Muskies fits from the start.
Once tip got off, we had the nerves going, and we didn't shoot it in very well.
First quarter, Khalif Crawford hits the 3 ball. Tigers up 3-0. Then it's Tavon Jones drilling the tray from straight away. Linden opened the game on a 13-zip run. They were up 13-2 after 1.
The whole first quarter down there, we had 1 layup. I scored 1 layup, and that's all we had the whole first quarter.
But second quarter, Muskies make a comeback. Tanner Slack with the three from the corner. Then following a steal, Slack connects again. He was feeling it early on. The train keeps rolling too. Drew Rackley with the vision to Matt Weir for the easy bucket. Ensuing possession, Weir on the lefty drive up and over the Tigers for two. John Glenn, what do you know? They're up 4 at the break, 25-21 at the half.
Linden's very good, and I've continued to follow them. They're having a great year. That was the type of team we hoped when we seen the bracket. The type of team we hoped that we got to play while we're down there.
But third quarter, here comes Linden again. Crawford, the trifecta. 43-32 entering the fourth, but again, John Glenn resilient. Rackley going to work inside. The Muskies up 1, but Linden too much down the stretch. There's Jones with 2 of his game-high 19, and the Tigers survive 54-49 to win the tournament.
I don't know. I thought we were the better team, and we just didn't come out on top.
Well, we shot 19% from 3. That's tough to do when we're all capable of shooting jump shots.
We don't obviously have moral victories, but that was a game that you felt, win or lose, that was going to make us better down the road.
They kind of opened our eyes so we could get beat. Like, we thought we were pretty good before, you know, kind of got cocky. It was good for us, actually, to get beat and go out and work harder.
Yeah, it's the best. I mean, it's as good as a loss could be, I guess.
But, I mean, it taught us a lot. It showed us that we can still get better, and it was a good experience. It was good for us.
Everybody hates to lose, obviously, but I'd say it couldn't have come at a better time in a sense, because it got our heads back down and we could think about where we wanted to go now that we had a loss.
Well, we don't like losses, obviously, but yeah, it was a good eye opener for us, and kind of came home and worked on some stuff that we needed to tighten up, and we're getting there.
I mean, of course, we'd want to win that. I had a chance to tie it at the end, but it didn't work out. But yeah, losing is never fun, but you got to be a good loser and learn from where you could have done better things. And I think we really did that. We've gotten better from that.
We hope you had a great holiday season, and Matt, we were gifted with what you could call a late Christmas present tonight in Dresden.
That is right. 2 powerhouses going at it, with Tri-Valley hosting John Glenn. This matchup couldn't have come at a better time for the Scotties, and boy, it would be a close one.
What do you know, as we pick this one up in the third quarter, Greg Woodard Muskies facing some more adversity. They're actually down by 2 at the half, and there's Marcus Dempsey dialing up the tray. TV extends its lead to 8 in the third, but the Fish answer back. Austin Blatt and 1. Now Matt Weir with the rock dumps it off to Drew Rackley for 3. John Glenn hops on top 41-40, but Dempsey's Dogs still fighting. The baseline take for 2, then off a steal. The senior gets 2 more. Tri-Valley down by just 3 entering the fourth, and a big moment for the Dogs here. Greg Nolder hits the 3 and he's fouled. Tri-Valley up 1 after Nolder hits the free throw, 52-51, but the Muskies, they bend, but they don't break. John Glenn takes it 68-58 behind 27 from Rackley as the Muskies remain unbeaten in MVL play. And John Glenn plays so well as a team. They were tested tonight. Greg Woodard maybe wasn't as happy as I've seen him after the game, but I mean, they came with it, and they showed poise in the waning moments of this one, and they got the win when it mattered.
Well, I think really playing in that KSA really helped the little Muskies.
Yeah.
They got to face some national competition, some teams, some size they haven't seen before, so I think that really helped them get ready for this.
Greg Woodard, head basketball coach, John Glenn Muskies. This is my 21st year as a head coach. This is my 17th at John Glenn. I was at Crooksville for 4 years prior to coming back to John Glenn.
We all call him Coach Woodard, and I think, well, we always called him Nipper in school.
I got ball, get there.
He's a great coach, greatest coach I've played for so far.
Little pride.
He's probably the best coach around.
Push, get it ahead.
There is a certain essence of those kids that they have to have something in here, but then a coach brings it out of them.
He just takes it to another level. He gets it out of you. It doesn't matter what day it is. if it's Thanksgiving, if it's Christmas, he doesn't care. He's ready to get in here and get better.
Tempo. Wear them down.
You just know the intensity's coming, and it's great after you get used to it.
It's just an expectation when you come in. You know how he's going to be. You know what he expects. So you know you have to live up to that standard. And it's basically playing to a standard, living up to a standard, you know, on the court, off the court.
He's, you know, raised a lot of us in a way.
Play it. Sit, 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 sit. Get down the cut.
It is intense, and I mean, he's gonna yell and scream, but when you're out on the court, he's got your back more than anybody. So practices could be long and intense and that kind of thing, but you're gonna be prepared to play. You're gonna be well coached. I know that when, you know, I got to college, one of the first things my college coach told me was that I had been coached really well.
Okay, defensively, we're going to start at 55. We'll be behind everybody.
But yeah, I mean, it's tough at first. Like my freshman year, I was always kind of scared to come to practice, really. But once you get used to it, you don't want it any other way.
Everything's normal up front until it gets crossed half. Closest guy match up, we'll go 52 fist there. What are we made of right here?
Right? When you ask a lot, I try to give back a lot in return. A lot of times they don't want to hear what I'm saying because it's usually, that's not a good decision. That's not good enough. And I think our society in a whole struggles with that anymore, telling a kid, you know what, that's not good enough. Our guys have heard that, but I'm also first one to tell them when they're doing a good job, and I think there's a mutual respect. You know, kind of live and die, and bleed John Glenn basketball. This has been my life. You know, they're all special kids, each and every one of them in their own way. Sometimes it takes an accident like Clay's to kind of make you realize that, but they're all important. They all have given their blood, their sweat, their tears for our program, and they always know that I'll be there for them at any point in their life.
Good job. Finish that, Stu.
We're going to take this next one over to John Glenn, where Greg Woodard and the Little Muskies looking for another victory to add to their resume against New Lex.
Look at this score.
110 to 27.
And we're here for the WHIZ TV High School Basketball Game of the Week as the John Glenn Muskies have traveled to take on the Maysville Panthers here at Maysville High School. Holds it, and that's it. Maysville falls to John Glenn 97-76.
12-1 John Glenn Little Muskies hosting Wyatt Carter and Philo at the Fish Tank. All the MVL teams have been wearing shirts to show support for Muskie AD Dan Adams as he is battling colon cancer. The student section is all fired up, and the romp would continue. Blevins with a pretty pass to Rackley, who strokes the wide open three. The Little Muskies roll 101 to 53.
Countdown is on for Greg Woodard's John Glenn Muskies. On Saturday, weather permitting, of course, it's JG versus St. Vincent St. Mary, that's LeBron's alma mater, in the game of the year so far in D2 Hoops.
Number 2 against number 1. It doesn't get any better than this, but tonight in New Concord, the Muskies didn't have any time to rest.
No, they didn't. That's because John Glenn hosting its toughest in-state opponent on paper so far, the 12-1 Meadowbrook Colts. A packed house at the Fish Tank for this one. He's Jay Blevins, the spin cycle. Yeah, that was dirty, and Blevins plays both ways. Look at this beauty of a swat for the sophomore after a Rackley 4-point play. I said 4-point play. Blatt to Matt Weir. That's Austin Blatt to Matt Weir. That makes it 51-36 John Glenn. End of the third. Tanner Slack from Matt Weir. That is how you bring down the house. And the Muskies take it 74-51, setting up Saturday's showdown with St. Vincent St. Mary. Matt, this seemed to be the perfect team for John Glenn to maybe, so to speak, have a tune-up for the Fighting Irish for. No disrespect to the Colts, still only their second loss in the season. They're a good club, but that's exactly what I'm saying here. They tested John Glenn. They've got some size in the interior, but John Glenn did well guarding against Meadowbrook's bigs, and they also proved that more than 2 guys on this team can score.
Well, that's the thing. They have so many different options. I mean, you have Matt Weir, you have Drew Rackley, you have Blevins. So many different options. I don't know if St. Vincent St. Mary's going to be ready to deal with all types of scorers.
And make no mistake, John Glenn's been proving that all year, that they run 5 deep with that starting lineup, not just those 2 future D1 guys. But if you're Drew Joyce, the head coach of the Fighting Irish, you've probably seen limited tape on John Glenn. Of course, you say, oh, Drew Rackley's going to VMI, Matt Weir's going to Air Force, but those other 3 guys, they can burn you. And they might just be the unsung heroes.
They can go inside, they can go outside, they can shoot from anywhere on the court.
Exactly, yeah. You got Slack and Blatt, your vintage knockdown shooters, and Blevins can play anywhere on the floor. Only a sophomore. You saw what he can do with his athleticism. So John Glenn, I think they're ready to go come Saturday.
We're not a 2-man team. We've got a lot of kids that contribute, whether it be offense or defense. You know, at this point, I'm sure we're not going to pass the look test compared to a lot of the other teams they've played this year. But like I said, we're excited about the opportunity. We're going to go up and try to keep our community proud.
The John Glenn Little Muskies took their talents to Northeast Ohio this evening as they took the court against the #1 team in the state, Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. This game was fast and physical right from the start. Matt Weir drains the corner 3 to open it up. Then it's Drew Rackley getting the board off of his own miss and finishes. But John Glenn would still trail 12-10 after 1. And then in the second quarter, the Irish on a run as Javon Graves throws down a monster dunk. But the Muskies can play that game too as Tanner Slack goes crazy on the rim.
If there's a problem, y'all better be ready. I'm coming to drop you with an attitude that's heavy. And all I want is money, power, respect, and nothing less. Tell them your walls down, y'all know the technique. If you really
Then in the third quarter, the Fish jump on top when Jay Blevins whips the loose ball and banks it in for the and 1. Then Slack comes up clutch from deep, but the Irish still lead by 3 entering the fourth. And that's when this game would get fun. Slack with a huge transition 3 to give the Fish the big advantage there. Then the Irish will take the lead right back on the rebuttal 3-pointer from guard John Williams.
you're with an attitude that's heavy. And all I want is money, power, respect, and nothing less. Tell them your walls down, y'all know the technique.
But not so fast, says the Muskies. Austin Blatt sneaks underneath for 2. And then the Muskies still up 3 until Graves cut it back to make it a 1-point game. And then on the ensuing possession, the Irish foul Blevins with 17 seconds to go. And there is loads of pressure, but he delivers, hitting both of the free throws, making it 53-50, and then following a Drew Rackley foul shot. The Irish still need a 3 to tie, but it is no good at the buzzard, and the Muskie student section is going absolutely nuts as John Glenn defeats the #1 team in the state on the road, 54-51. It's an absolute statement win for a team that knows how good it truly is.
You know, in scouting them, watching film on them, talking to our kids.
I think it was like the day before they came out with new rankings and they moved us to 2. And that fired us up a little bit.
I felt we could beat them.
We knew we could win
And
it.
that was a good team.
I knew we'd have to play really well. I knew it would be tough to beat them on their own floor.
If we got down to the last couple minutes, within a couple points, we knew we could do it.
It was probably more important for us to win not playing well than it was for us to go up there and play really well and win.
It was almost like we were the underdogs. And we were like, we didn't really understand that because, I mean, we, in our minds, we're the best team in the state.
I thought for the first time, our character and our resilience shined through that night.
Win, lose, or draw, that was an awesome game.
I don't think anybody there would question that we had more people there than Akron did.
A lot of maroon in that crowd. So.
And I think at that point, you had to really take a deep breath and take a step back and realize how special the place New Concord is.
When there's an away game, it's the quietest town you'll ever find.
It's a special place. It truly is. It's a special place.
I've talked to a lot of people recently, and not just from John Glenn, like you said, but from like around the area, and they're very supportive and they're rooting for us to make it all the way.
Being raised in New Concord and graduating from John Glenn High School, it means everything.
We've done our best to uphold and be respectful and do everything we can for all the support we get, and we do, and we appreciate it a lot.
It strikes up the conversation. Yesterday, I had a meeting in Columbus, and I'm meeting with a gentleman from Akron. And he's like, so what's going on down in New Concord? I said, how about them Muskies? He's like, yeah, I saw they knocked off St. V. You know, it just sparks a conversation. So I think no matter you walk in the bank, pizza shop, gas station, somebody's talking about it.
It's awesome. Just like we go to every game, away games, our whole side's filled up. Home games, you sell out every game. It's just pretty awesome to have just everybody supporting you and wanting you to go far.
For me, to see our community rally around our basketball program, to me is a dream come true.
When I went up to Akron to see the John Glenn boys play, just to see that kind of a crowd to get together for our small little town was just amazing.
Our home games are always packed environment. It's a great environment. And then when we go places, we always pack their stadiums, and it's just amazing to play in these great atmospheres that most people don't even get to experience once.
Being around here, you raise them a little bit, and you've been around, you've seen them grow up, and it's kind of like a part of you helped that along.
You know, the tip of that iceberg or the tip of that dream would be for this community to go to Columbus.
Playing their first game as the #1 team in Division II. The new sheriff in town visiting West Muskingum. Muskies win 87-28 to improve to 16-1. Tonight, Greg Woodard and company hosting Crooksville. Look who's in the house, a special guest, Muskie great and former Ohio State Buckeye Jade Person taking in the action, and he's going to like what he sees. The Muskies roll 94-38, no doubt about that one.
#1 ranked John Glenn Muskies taking on the #12 ranked Morgan Raiders. Morgan's toughest test of the season.
No doubt about both games, despite the fact that Morgan was ranked 12th in the state, entering this one a statement win by John Glenn.
It's a packed house here at John Glenn for senior night as the Sheridan Generals have traveled to take on the John Glenn Muskies. That's going to do it. 86-55, John Glenn defeats the Sheridan Generals.
Well, the John Glenn Muskies were supposed to get their shot at an outright MVL title tonight at the Fish Tank, but Mother Nature had other plans. No worries for the top team in D2, though. That game has been rescheduled to tomorrow night. Same time, same place. It'll be at the Fish Tank, 7:30.
Yeah, man, it's hard not to be emotional. Last game of the thing.
The tournament draw is already out for boys hoops, but that didn't mean tonight's MVL showdown between John Glenn and Tri-Valley was meaningless. In fact, it was just the opposite. The Fish would clinch the outright league title with the win, while the Dogs made the trip to New Concord with something to prove.
the day, what are we made of?
Sellout crowd here in New Concord, and a third straight MVL crown on the line for the Muskies if they can get the victory. John Glenn averaging a league best 85 points per game and surrendering just 48 points per game. That 48 per game is second best in the conference, only to the Scotties 46. If they can win tonight, they clinch the MVL title outright, the third straight year.
Our first possession on offense, get everybody a touch. Hey, leave no doubt, leave no doubt.
If you'll remember, Tri-Valley played John Glenn very close the first time these teams met in Dresden, lost by just 10, had the lead in the fourth quarter. But tonight, a different story. That's Matt Weir starting the party for John Glenn. 12-7 Fish. Weir already has 10. Then it's Weir to Drew Rackley, who drives and scores over two defenders. 19-9, John Glenn after one. Second quarter, sophomore Jay Blevins feeds Rackley, who's behind him, for 3 more points. It's already 22-11 Muskies. Plenty of time left in the half. The Dogs need a bunch of buckets. Tyler McGee gives them 3 points. Nice dish from Logan Hiddle. TV trailing by 7, but Weir answers and one on the take. And JG is just getting started. Time winding down in the half. Look at Tanner Slack underneath, beating the buzzer. Muskies up 12 at the break.
We give them hope. We get a 14-16. Instead of throwing a knockout punch, we give them hope. Okay? We did good in flurries. We've got to become more consistent defensively. We get that 14-16 point lead, then we give them either a layup or an open three. And we give the shooter the open three.
Fast forward to the third quarter. Dogs leading scorer Marcus Dempsey trying to will his team back into this. Some smooth handles, finds the bottom of the cup, but the Fish continue to press. Rackley connects from deep. That makes it a 15-point game, 56-41. End of the quarter. Rackley airballs, but look who's there again to beat the buzzer. It's Tanner Slack. That was just the kind of night that John Glenn was having. Here's Matt Weir with an easy take right down Broadway. He had a game-high 24, and Slack not done with the fireworks. He slams home the steal to put a cap on this one. John Glenn 75, Tri-Valley 54. The Muskies complete the MVL three-peat, and they're cutting down the nets in New Concord.
You know, one step in a long journey for you guys, but this has got to feel good to win the outright title and do it in front of your home fans tonight.
Yep, feels great, man. Last time playing here, it's rough, man. It's rough. Been through a lot of stuff here. Sorry, and I can't be more thankful for the people we have here, everything we have here, man. It's unlike any other place in the world, man. I'm so thankful for everyone. Just playing with my best friends, man. There's nothing that can beat that. There's nothing that can replace that. Every 4 years has been a little bit different group of guys for me, but I've always been at the center of the group for 4 years, and every group I love with all my heart, man. I miss Clay to death, man. It's just great.
And I know, of course, still New Lex on Friday, but just tell me about the significance looking ahead to the tournament of catching fire at the right time. You guys have been playing well all year, of course, but to be able to put in a performance like this, 9 days away from the tournament.
Well, we don't talk about the tournament right now because we still got New Lex, and that's our main focus right now, and we refuse to talk about the tournament. So I'm gonna plead the fifth or whatever you want to call that. We're going to talk about New Lex, and that'll be it.
The student section at New Lex getting wild at the Jungle, trying to upset the #1 team in the state, John Glenn. But the Muskies would go on a huge run early. Let's just say John Glenn didn't have any issues at the Jungle. They win this one 100-39. You heard that right.
That's right, John Glenn, I believe 210 points in 2 games against New Lex. John Glenn they're good. They're playing great basketball at the perfect time, as they'll be in action in tournament time 7 days from now, next Friday at Zanesville High School.
We're right where we thought we would be. You know, and when I say that, I'm not necessarily talking about wins and losses. You know, it's a long year. 22 games is a long season, both for players and coaches. Right now, I sense the excitement that the tournament has gotten here. You know, I think it's important that you relish the regular season. You know, we're in a league. We've always talked about if you're in a league, that ought to be your #1 goal. But I think our kids have really waited and relished the opportunity to get back to the tournament time. We're thankful that we're all healthy. We're thankful that we have an opportunity to play close to home again for at least the early part of the tournament. But I really think they've always kind of looked ahead to wanting to, again, get back to tournament time.
The top-ranked John Glenn Muskies, they weren't playing tonight, but they were doing a little scouting and a little clowning as well. Love that team. They await the winner of Minerva and Buckeye local.
All right, the magic number for the John Glenn Muskies is 5. If they can go 5-0, they'll finally punch that coveted ticket to the state Final Four.
The tournament journey began tonight for John Glenn versus Minerva, and the Fish wasted absolutely no time getting up big. First quarter, Tanner Slack misses from distance, but look at this. Ball was the shot for the board and the bucket. 16-0 Muskies. Austin Blatt to Jay Blevins for the score. John Glenn opens on an 18-0 run, and this is beautiful basketball. Matt Weir with the steal, the give and go with Tanner Slack. John Glenn rolls 103-32. Matt, I can't say that this was really a surprising performance by John Glenn tonight. I think everybody expected them to beat Minerva handily, and that's what they did. But you've got to be impressed with this team's focus, even going into games like this that they were supposed to win big. They come out and, an 18-0 run. They put this game away before it even really started, and that, I think, is a testament to great coaching by Greg Woodard.
Well, speaking of Woodard, he always states when we talk to him, just take it one game at a time.
Doesn't matter who they're playing.
Especially this time, any team can beat anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. So it's always important to just take it one game at a time.
It's kind of crazy with all the wins John Glenn racked up during the regular season that 4 more wins and they're going to be heading to Columbus. Of course, those games will only get harder and harder as we progress. But when you've won as many games as this team, it's got to pump you up. But that said, John Glenn, one game at a time. We know that's how they operate.
Todd, you've been following John Glenn all season long. They've beaten Philo twice. I know they're expected to win and expected to win big. How much pressure does that put on you, especially when you're expected to beat a team for the 3rd time and beat them big again?
Well, there's no pressure. They're not going to lose this game tonight. They're the #1 team in the state. They've been the Elite 8 twice out of the back-to-back years, and they're on a mission. And this is the next step in the journey. The pressure is to enjoy this moment. Sometimes when you're really good and everyone's your destination, your goal, everything you put is to get to Columbus, to get to this Final Four. It's sometimes you don't enjoy some of these games. Treasure it. You're in your own backyard, your community. It's jam-packed and you're close to a sellout. Enjoy that moment. And I don't think there's any pressure. That's the thing is sometimes it's we just want to get to the next game. You need to treasure every one because time's going way too fast. So that's probably the biggest challenge for John Glenn tonight.
Big Fish in that Division II pond making a big splash at Windland Gym against Philo. Drew Rackley to Tanner Slack, 3 points. Already 10-2 Muskies in the first. Matt Weir now channeling his inner white chocolate. Jason Williams with the one-handed heave to Slack. That makes it 16-4. And Rackley facilitating some more to Austin Blatt for the tray. Muskies by 15. This time it'll be Weir to Blatt from virtually the same spot. That Black kid is a shooter. Dialed it on up. John Glenn up 30-8 after 1. Now it's Blatt grabbing the defensive board. He heaves a full court pass to his buddy Slack for the lay-in. The Muskies are just rolling. Philo freshman Trey Lutz. This kid's got a bright future. Makes it rain for the Electrics. But Weir answers back just seconds later. Muskies by 30. Still 5:20 left in the first half. We're on the fast break to Jay Blevins for another bucket. And Blatt puts an exclamation point on the first half. The 3 ball just before the buzzer. Muskies by 37 at the break. John Glenn wins 96-43.
In those highlights, they are just so quick with the ball. Whether it's Weir, Rackley, Slack, Blevins, Blatt, whoever it is, they are just so quick with the ball. and if they don't have the open lane, they pass it back out and start a new play.
They just have so many weapons, and you said exactly that. I feel like we've been kind of just being redundant, speaking of that, game after game this season, but it's true. I mean, their starters 1 through 5, they can all score the basketball. They've got Matt Stewart, Justin Haycock, Zach Harper got a shot. Those guys out coming off the bench. This team, so many weapons, and they can score points too. Again, another 90-plus point effort by John Glenn. I don't think it's a stretch to say the Muskies are going to keep rolling and keep beating teams up all the way, at least, to the Convocation Center. And now some very sad news out of New Concord today as the John Glenn basketball team looks to make a run to the state tournament. The Muskie community mourning the loss of a beloved administrator. John Glenn Athletic Director Dan Adams passed away this morning after a fight with colon cancer. He was 48 years old. Adams graduated from JGHS in 1985 and worked for 22 years as an AD between New Lexington and John Glenn. He held numerous leadership roles throughout his career, including president of the MVL and a member of the East District Athletic Board. Our deepest condolences to the Adams family and the East Muskingum School District.
Well, I think it's just our community. Our kids respect and appreciate it. I mean, they seen the work ethic that he had, how much he cared about our athletes here at John Glenn, and everybody that knew him loved him.
The John Glenn Muskies continued their historic season this evening, squaring off with Indian Valley in the district final. Number 1 John Glenn taking on Indian Valley from Windland Gym. Drew Rackley here would have a day. For the Muskies' first points, it's Rackley with the swipe and takes it to the other end for the deuce. John Glenn up 2-zip. Let's just say the Muskies would pretty much dominate here. Matt Weir with the swish from long range. Muskies up 10-3 with 4 to go in the first 2 minutes. Later, it's Weir again with the pump fake, and from the top of the key, the lead's now 14-5. This game was looking more like a game of 2K here. Rackley with the inside dish to Zach Harper, and then off of another turnover, Rackley keeps it going to the other end, and the floater drops.
We'll cut down the nets here in Windland Gymnasium, win their 3rd straight title, district title that is, and they will advance to play Vinton County on Thursday. Down to 9 seconds to go. It does not look like they're going to take another shot. Minor high on the right side of the floor, down to 4 seconds. At the top of the key, they will not. There's the buzzer, and there's the game.
I love you!
82-43, the final score. The Little Muskies clinch their 3rd straight district championship. They will advance to Athens in the regionals and take on Vinton County on Thursday at 8 o'clock. 82-43, the final score here from Zane.
John Glenn looking for its 3rd straight regional final appearance, while Vinton County hoping to pull off a gigantic upset. The Muskies start off hot. Jay Blevins gets the lucky bounce on the tray. Then it's Matt Weir driving to the rack and one. Count the bucket. 10-5 John Glenn. Now time for a little Drew Rackley here to take over. 13-5 after the tray. And then it is Rackley again on the drive. Hoop and the harm. Fish up 24-11 after 1. Then Austin Blatt wants to get in a little bit on the action here. He gets the layup off the steal and finishes. Count it. Muskies by 17 in the second. Then Tanner Slack drills the corner 3 to keep the lead intact. More from Rackley here before halftime. He had 19 at the break. Muskies are on cruise control at this point, 41-18. Weir is also scoring in bunches. Here he is here. He knocks down the pull-up 3. Muskies by 25 after the 3rd. Then to start the 4th, it is Weir with 3 more of his 19 points on the night, and then following a steal, Rackley finishes for 2 of his game-high 25 points as John Glenn rolls to the regional final, 73-46, and the Fish are hoping for more of the same come Saturday.
Drew Rackley and the Muskies didn't allow any surprises Thursday night.
I just want to come out aggressive and set the tone early for everybody.
The seniors' dominating performance helped send the Fish back to the regional final.
We're happy to be moving forward. Thought we played pretty well tonight, other than a couple small stretches.
Less than 2 days separate Saturday's showdown with the Sails.
They got the same turnaround.
But it's nothing the Muskies haven't seen.
I don't think it will be too tough a turnaround because we played down in Florida We played 3 games back to back to back.
After the win, there was no celebrating and no bragging.
I'm pretty pumped. I think we're going to play.
Just a quiet air of assurance that this team
We're ready to get it done.
will go where no John Glenn squad has gone before.
They're going to give us our best shot, but we're ready to go. We're too ready.
4 quarters from Columbus.
You can't find the 32 minutes in you, regardless how tired you are at this point. We probably don't need to be here.
And the ball is in the Muskies' court.
We're tired of talking about it. I'm ready to do it.
Clay would say, it's about time, boys.
It was the world to him. He loved being a John Glenn Muskie.
He got to be part of not only a team, but they were his brothers. They were absolutely a band of brothers.
For Clay, though, it was more than just it was more than a basketball game, you know? It's like he valued family, friends, faith. He's always had love, man. He's always had heart.
You know, as a parent, I guess you don't realize how loved he is until, you know, you see that. You know, it was truly amazing.
When they lost, if you ever saw his face, he cried, you would see he cried.
You're either going to win or you're going to lose the fight. That's how he was, and if he wasn't winning, he was going to fight you, and I think we love to have that passion.
He loved making Coach Woodard proud of him, so he tried as best he could to do that.
We still wear bracelets in his honor.
These boys still remember him. These boys still wear his number on him.
Drew represents him very well on and off the court.
It makes me proud that somebody wants to wear his number, you know, and almost, you know, honored, because they meant a lot to each other.
That jersey to him was, it was more than just it was more than fabric, man. It was more than a number. It was family. It was you know, standing up for what he believed in, putting all of his heart in something.
You go to the games and watch him play, and it just kind of, it does help with the healing somewhat.
Gosh, when we hear about the Muskies, when I see any of those kids, that's still a piece of Clay that's alive, and that's what I get to have. Loved watching him play ball, loved it. Every time I'd go, I'd say, I'm going to be a good mom this time. I'm not going to stand up and scream and yell, and I couldn't help it. You just can't help it. As a John Glenn fan, you have to, you know, you can't just sit there.
I know it would mean a lot to me just as a fan, you know. It may be a little more because of the circumstances.
And by remembering him in this way, they haven't let him die.
Off to the convo for the second game in a row. John Glenn taking on DeSales for the regional championship. The Muskies are off to a great start. Jay Blevins hits the 3 to make it 7-zip. DeSales would burn a timeout. Then Matt Weir is true from distance to keep the Stallions at bay. Then it's Drew Rackley on the steal and drives DeSales. We call another timeout. This time Austin Blatt wants to get in on the action here. He fires and fills. 21-10 John Glenn, but DeSales closes the first quarter strong. Caden Sanchez finishes inside, Muskies by 5. Then on to the second quarter we go. Tanner Slack hits from distance to give John Glenn more insurance. And then just before the half, it's Blatt with the steal and the deuce. Muskies up 12 at the break, just 16 minutes from the shot. And John Glenn's come out of the locker room on fire. Rackley drains the tray. Then he drives in for the layup. Muskie fans are going absolutely nuts. They are loving it. Matt Weir then that lay-in gives John Glenn a 19-point edge with just 3 minutes left in the third. Now it's Rackley on the crossover and one. Count the bucket. John Glenn just counting down the minutes at this point. Then in the fourth, it is Slack with a huge swat on defense, and the offense is just on cruise control. Blatt finds Rackley to get the lead back up to 17. And then when the clock hits 0, there's no doubt about it. John Glenn blows out DeSales 70-50 to edge its name in the history books. Rackley with a game-high 31 points. The John Glenn Muskies have had many highs during the season, and many of those have been due to the play of senior guard Drew Rackley.
You know, he's been a 4-year starter, special kid.
First Vinton County, then St. Francis de Sales. The senior has scored a total of 50 points, including 31 in the regional final.
Yeah, he got it done. He got it done, and trust me, he and I have had talks about we're not leaving here without 2 wins this time.
The Muskies will make their first ever trip to the Schottenstein Center on Thursday in a state semifinal showdown with Bay High School.
And it's unreal. Been waiting for forever, it feels like. I don't care how many I scored, I just wanted to win. I told myself that, man, it's gonna be hard to sleep, but I have a feeling we're gonna get it done, and I wouldn't want to do it with any other group of guys, so I'm thankful for that.
Drew Rackley knows what it will mean to win a state title, but above all, it will be the end of an outstanding career at John Glenn.
I think only people who coach understand the relationships you develop with these young men, and obviously when you have some success, those relationships even become more special.
He's emotional.
Yeah.
He's crying.
He tries
What's that like in the locker room?
I think he felt it the most.
Yeah.
He tries to act tough, but he's really soft.
Yeah.
We test him every day. He's soft.
Any of you guys have a Woodard impression? Does anybody have one?
Do the call. Do the call.
Do the call.
I can't do the call.
He doesn't say his H's. He says huge, humongous, human.
Milk has an E too.
Yeah, milk. If we talk about a ref, he'll just say he's human. He's human. Yeah. He's like, I don't know what a human is.
This is a huge opportunity.
In a lot of cases, they drive me nuts, just to the fact that there's always somebody that's sense of humor, maybe at appropriate or sometimes inappropriate time. In my mind, they keep me loose, really. I think as a coach, sometimes you want your team to be loose and not too stressed with what lays before them, or lies before them. But they probably keep me loose as far as they're very, very comfortable with me.
Who's the goofiest out of all you guys?
I don't know though. We all got weird moments.
Yeah. We got some weird moments.
We all have times where we have to pause and we're like, wait,
What did you say? Hold up, run that back.
Always dancing. Doesn't matter where we're at. He's always dancing.
I'll wake up from on the bus. We're driving down there, and he's just over there, still like. I don't even know if he's up. His eyes are closed half the time.
And he's always talking about girls that he can't get.
It's alright. They're gonna see this.
Yeah, he lost his tooth.
Yeah,
he didn't even care about it.
It's back here.
Is it still gone?
Yeah, it's still gone.
You're that scared of shots?
Yeah. I hate needles.
Yeah, we can tell.
Yeah, like needles in my body.
So these guys are saying you're the weirdest ones. Like, if you had to vote for someone other than yourself, who would you pick?
I'm not. He's always making weird noises. The things like something you wouldn't think it have no reaction to. Matt's making some type of weird noise. You're like, that come out of his mouth. You don't know where it came from. You don't know if he said it, where it came from. Is his phone or something? But it's always Matt making a weird noise.
No comment.
Tanner's the most mature and subdued of the five, or do you guys,
I don't know about mature.
You guys have Tanner stories or anything?
Kind of. I don't know though, because sometimes it's weird. It's not weird. It's too normal.
It's weird. It's just we're surprised he's the one.
Because Looking
at the Final Four now, here you are. You look across the bracket. You see Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary. What do you think? Do you think anything yet?
No, one game at a time. Yeah. Well, we know it's not just a regular game, but we still got to treat it like that. And we're just going to go in there and do our job.
It's a very special night for the Fish in New Concord. 2 days away from the biggest game in school history, members of the community turned up at the Fish Tank to show their support. The parking lot was full and so was the gymnasium. Muskie supporters young and old turned up at a pep rally emceed by Aaron Sprague of Storied Rivals. A few of the seniors took part in a three-point shooting contest among other activities, and some of the younger fans had the chance to meet the heroes they've cheered on.
I'm going to miss this team and have this is the last year. And first time going to Columbus, I'll be there, so let's go.
I'm pretty excited myself. I'm like ready for it to be Thursday, like I'm wishing it was Thursday like today or like tomorrow. So I think it's pretty cool.
Rest assured, many of the same fans will make the trip to the bus Thursday night to watch John Glenn play in the Final Four for the first time ever. Muskie coach Greg Woodard is humbled.
Not just this year, but for several years now, we've had tremendous support, and like I said, just a great community to live in. You don't have to lock your door, you don't have to lock your car. It's just that type of environment. We're very fortunate.
The John Glenn Muskies hit the court this evening against Bay High School, looking for a trip to the state championship game. That is right, you heard it. John Glenn playing in its biggest game of the season, the semi-state against Bay High School. The winner moves on to the big dance. In the first, Tanner Slack hits the opening bucket. 3-zip John Glenn. The Fish are down 1 until Drew Rackley buries the tray. Now 10-8 Muskies. Good start, good first quarter though for Bay as Cole Gurge hits the triple there. 17-16 Rockets after one, count it. Muskies, though, get their swagger back in the second as Slack knocks down the three in transition. 23-20, Fish back on top. Matt Weir then wanted to get in on the action, keeps the barrage going, and the Muskies will not stop there. Austin Blatt hits from distance following a steal. John Glenn leading by 15 at this point. And then just before the half, it is Rackley from deep. All Muskies at the midway point, 46-26. They are just 2 quarters away. Then in the third, Weir drives in for the deuce. Moments later, the Air Force commit hits the triple. John Glenn has this one wrapped up entering the fourth. Rackley scores the uncontested another bucket to make it 75-54. And then with all the starters out at this point, Matt Stewart hits the wing three. So clear your Saturday schedule because the John Glenn Muskies are playing for the state championship. 84-56 the final score. John Glenn gets its rematch with Akron St. Vincent St. Mary.
John Glenn basketball is used to being the talk of the town.
Fun coming to their games and watching what they do.
27 victories, including last night's win over Bay, have turned Greg Woodard's crew into the talk of this state.
This group can put points up quick, and I think what you've seen don't really surprise us at this point.
How the Muskies got here is no accident. They selflessly shared the basketball, playing for each other.
It's not all about one person. It's not about him or him. It's about all of it.
But tomorrow afternoon in Columbus, John Glenn will play for so much more.
It just kind of took your mind away from everything for a little while and spread a lot of joy throughout people that are going through rough times.
They'll play for athletic director Dan Adams, who died from colon cancer on March 2nd.
I know he'd be really proud of our kids and proud of what we've accomplished this year. And, I know he's watching.
They'll play for former teammate Clay Sturtz, who died in a car accident 17 months ago.
I believe he's here, and I believe he's with the team. Absolutely. When they say he's in the locker room or he's on the floor or they're playing for him, they're playing for him.
They'll play for a fan base that's bounced back from the losses.
I think you'll have a hard time finding a better supportive community than we've got.
The Muskies are playing for more than a state title tomorrow afternoon.
We're excited about the opportunity.
And they're more than ready to finish the job.
We're ready to get it done.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Value City Arena in Columbus for the 94th annual Ohio High School Boys Basketball State Championship game. Today on your dial, it's a rematch of two of the best teams in the state for the Division II crown. The Irish of Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary, while the Little Muskies of John Glenn making their first appearance all time in the state championship game.
Someone's going to win, someone's going to lose, and it sure ain't going to be us. And that's the nice version of it.
John Glenn staring down Akron St. Vincent St. Mary for the second time this season, and it's the Fish throwing the first haymaker.
Before we got introduced, I looked at Jay and Matt and I was like, we don't have anything to lose. Like, they're the ones that will be embarrassed if we beat them twice.
Drew Rackley eventually, Javon Blevins to Matt Weir, then check out Drew Rackley, gets the tip in and one, 10-5 Muskies after the made free throw.
Regardless of what happens from here, we've had a tremendous year.
Now Rackley up to Jay Blevins for the layup, and the sophomore will stay hot. Weir to Blevins from deep, count it.
It's always been a dream as a little kid. You know, you just want to be at the biggest stage, playing at the biggest stage and performing for our fans and all our supporters. It'd be great.
15-7 Muskies setting the pace after one. Then it's Blevins, a great dish to Austin Blatt. Muskies up double figures. Matt Weir, look at the crossover, spins his man around. That makes it a 25-14 game.
I know they're going to give everything they've got on the floor. So hopefully we will continue to make our community proud.
Now Weir connecting with Tanner Slack on the long pass, who scores on the finger roll. John Glenn firing on all cylinders. Before the half, it'll be Blevins hitting another three. John Glenn leading comfortably at the break, 34-23.
Nobody really talks about it like we did. We made it very open in the locker room that it was state championship or bust. Whether people took us serious when we said it or not, we didn't care. We just wanted to win, and that was it.
St. Vincent St. Mary making some noise beginning of the third. That's Javon Graves, a big slam up the steal, but the Muskies maintained their lead. Rackley in the paint.
And it was just a beautiful thing. I knew Clay was out there on the court the whole year.
And one, that was huge, 44-32 Fish.
Because next year there won't be anyone that he played with. This was the last year for that. And to see someone wearing his jersey and to see 33 out there on the court and to feel 33 out there on the court, that was a big thing.
Then it's Rackley finding Slack. All he does is knock down three-pointers.
I'm going to stay positive. I think they can bring it home. I really think they can take it.
But the Irish down just 4 entering the fourth. Get ready for an 8-minute war.
Our kids have worked hard. Our kids have made the sacrifices and commitments that they need to make to put themselves in that position to make it that far.
John Williams hits the wing three. St. Vincent St. Mary grabs a quick lead, but not for long. Blatt on the lob to Slack. Muskies up 5, then it's Weir on the take. Bump and the bucket. Muskies up 6, the crowd's loving it. The Irish will not go away though. Graves drives, makes it a 2-point game, 43 seconds left.
I told you it'd be a dream come true for me. It really would. Anybody that's in high school coaching, I think, would be lying if they said that wouldn't be the pinnacle of their career, their coaching career, and some are fortunate enough to get there more than once. For us, we've been knocking on the door. We just need to find a way to kick that door in. And obviously, not only great for us, but great for our community, great for the second and third graders that look up to these guys already to make their mark in our program history.
The Muskies need to hit their free throws in the crunch time. They do just that. It's Blatt, then Weir, then Rackley, all converting from the stripe.
It's a 4-point game. 8.5 to go in the state title game. 76-72. John Glenn on top. The inbound pass goes to Williams. Williams pulls up for 3. Tries to draw contact. No good. Tipped around. Blatt gets the rebound. 2 to go, and he's fouled underneath the basket, and that might do it. Let the party begin in New Concord. John Glenn, the 2016 Division II state champion, 76-72 over Akron St. Vincent St. Mary.
happened to be downtown this evening and seeing thousands of people coming out, and they just want every second. They want to continue to celebrate.
One of the best things that ever happened to the town, the John Glenn stuff before, but here it is, John Glenn School, so I think it's great for the town.
They worked well as a unit, and it brought the community together.
I mean, with all my heart, I mean, where else would you rather raise a kid in a community that cares so much about their young kids and athletics, and just the support is phenomenal. They didn't lose. I mean, they took it upon it. Losing was not an option at any point.
This is our blood, this is our sweat. These are our tears, man, we won't forget. This is our town, and it's our home. They'll be damned if they don't think we stand the ground we own. 'Cause we've been through it all, man. Pain left these scars, well, it pushed us this far, but we healed a bright hometown. We got love and we got soul, and all we got's each other, but thank God that it's enough. 'Cause we are young, we are free, and if they mess with you, man, they mess with me. We stand up for what we